Okay.
Cool.
So yeah. So how we do level design, and Cassandra, you're also going to probably talk through this a bit. Our level design is a 32 by 32 texture image, which this GIF is going through, and we just build up different parts of it to kind of create things. And all of these little pixels correspond to something in our game. And we'll, yeah, at some point, maybe we'll later after this, maybe we'll just draw a level based on a suggestion, or maybe not. We'll see. Uh, yeah, we'll talk more about that when we do the drawing, if you want.
Yeah, okay. So real quick, I just figured I'd drop kind of like what we were thinking overall for our game in terms of level design. So we looked back at the pillars that Elijah showed with the blue canvas board that we had made. So basically, like for our game, the main achievement for every level is to get the treasure at the end, which is the green flag for us. And then we want to make the levels, you know, get harder as you go along in the game. So like what are the variables that we can affect in order to make that happen? We looked at, you know, how many trash cans are in the level, how much trash does each trash can give out, um, how much trash do you need before the trasher is available, that goal. And then level design obviously plays a huge role in that, like where you can go, like how tight the movements are that you can make to get away from enemy AIs, and then the AI pathway that we showed you, that also comes into play. And then for the entire game, like our entire goal, as you play, is the more completed levels you get, the more treasures you get, and then it's a stealth-based collectathon. So that was kind of like where our thought process was with that. I think the next slide we have, yeah. So this is kind of more going into like looking back at the comp of Hunter Assassin and like where we wanted to be for our game with like pacing and stuff. So we decided to go for more of a larger map. Hunter Assassin's more of a confrontation game where we're more of a stealth avoidance game, and due to that, we utilize more of like larger spaces. You can go farther, and Hunter Assassin kind of appreciates more of that tight like strategic tactical move. So that was kind of like where we were coming at from that. We also noticed within Hunter Assassin that they have special event levels that happen just about every 10 levels, which is a good way to balance interest. That's really important when you're making a game. You don't want to make it too difficult that nobody, you know, wants to keep playing, but they also don't want to get bored. So how do you keep their interest? And a cool level every once in a while that brings something new to the mechanics is a great way to do that. So that's what we're kind of thinking about as we progress with our gameplay.
Yeah. One thing I'll add is that I analyzed some of the levels we already made with the game, and uh, what I found is that the difficulty of the level is most related to how many trash cans we have in the level and what the amount of trash you need to beat a level is. Because if you have more, if you have to explore more of the level, you have more opportunities to get caught by an enemy. Where if you only have to do like 3 trash cans in a level with 30 trash cans, you only get the first 3 and then you go directly to the end. So that's also one way like a pretty direct way mechanically in level design, we make the game levels more difficult. Okay.
Yeah. So this is kind of coming from like an art standpoint. If anybody's interested in art, that's kind of like where this is coming from. But so this is just kind of looking at, first of all, like our comp, but also how the tile sets actually lay out within Unity. So if you're an artist making art for games, you're not going to make it exactly the way that you would picture it. So if you look at these tile sets, if you separate them from the picture of the game, you wouldn't think that they can compile to create the picture that you see on the left. But reality, like the procedural way that we create our levels is it's a little confusing to somebody who's not a programmer, but it makes a lot of sense for the programmers on that side. So if you're an artist and you want to get into game art, I think that's something valuable to know, is like how programs will view like what you make. So if you notice, like these are little squares. Each square is about like 32 by 32 pixels. And so the program will go in and place each tile based on the algorithm that we set. And so the tiles in the middle, those are related to the walls that you see. The tiles on the side with the black and the brown, that's more of like our borders to define that space. And then you have the 4 floor tiles, which can generate and tile. Well, the key thing about these is that they all have to be able to fit next to each other. So that's really important when you're making tiled set art and modular art. So that's kind of where we were thinking with that. And you'd be surprised like how many tiles you need to make for just one wall. that was something that I was kind of shocked about. I've never done tile sets before, so this was my first time trying them, and it was really cool. There's a lot of great Photoshop tutorials and stuff for that. So
Yeah. In Unity, the 2D extras package is really helpful for this because it has a thing called rule tiles, which lets you kind of so you don't have to program all of how it's set up. You just click some buttons to say like this tile will drop down when there's a tile this way, but down a tile this way, and that's how it's actually set up in the game. So it's actually not a lot of programming. I may have made it seem a bit more technical when I was working with Cassandra making this, but it's a bit technical because you got to know which direction things have to go. Not really. Um,